Okay, welcome in. I'm going to be reviewing Saturday's and Monday's games from the Four Nations Face-Off as we lead up to Thursday's championship game, which should be very intriguing to say the least. So on Saturday, we had two games. The first one had Sweden playing against Finland. In the first period, just 8:35 in the opening frames, Mika Zibanejad would get his first of the tournament, unassisted, 8:35 of the opening frame. Uh, 2 minutes and 22 seconds after that, Anton Lundell would tie the game up, walking his first goal of the tournament, assisted by his teammate Luosterainen and Patrik Laine. And then late in the first period, Finland would get a power play. Mikko Rantanen would get his first goal of the tournament, assisted by Patrik Laine and Sebastian Aho. He would score with 14 seconds to go in the opening frame, giving Finland a 2-1 lead heading into the second period. In the second period, Rasmus Dahlin would get his first goal of the tournament from Joel Eriksson Ek, and Lucas Raymond, 5:06 of the second period. Staying in the second period, Erik Karlsson would get his first goal of the tournament from William Nylander, 10:32 of the second period, putting Sweden up on top, 3-2. Alexander Barkov, or Sasha Barkov as his nickname, would get his first goal of the tournament, tying the game up at 3, assisted by Kaapo Kakko and Olli Maatta, 17:05 of the second period. There was no scoring in the third period. This game would need overtime, and Michael Granlund would get the game-winning goal, getting his first goal of the tournament, assisted by Mikkola, just 1:49 into the overtime frame. So Finland would go on to win the game 4-3 because I'm basically 2 days behind. There's no point in me trying to find the standings for then. I will have the end of the tournament standings once I'm caught up with Monday's action. So the other game took place that had Team Canada playing their last game in Canada before they moved to the States, taking on the United States of America. To say that this game was the most interesting of all the entire tournament would be an absolute understatement. If you didn't have a chance to watch the game or highlights, I highly recommend going on it. I'm sure there's so many different clips that you could go and find it on YouTube. In the first 9 seconds of the game, not just of the first or second or third period, the first 9 seconds of the opening period, there were 3 fights. And that just brought back some like old school hockey. Obviously, there's a lot of tension, especially with all the politics and stuff like that. And for me personally, I think you should leave politics out of the games. And it's not just for hockey. I guarantee they have had issues and problems in other North American sports, and I'm sure it could be a worldwide problem as well. But I really think that like the booing of the anthems, it's a little, it's unnecessary to say the least. So that's just my personal take on it. So after the fights, I mean, there still were some hitting, and I'm sure there was some jawing back and forth between the two teams. Connor McDavid would get his first goal of the tournament, opening up the scoring for Team Canada, assisted by Drew Doughty and Jordan Binnington. 5:31 of the first period. Staying in the first period, Jake Guentzel will get his second goal of the tournament, assisted by Jack Eichel, who had 3 assists in the tournament thus far. And Zach Werenski, who had his 4th assist of the tournament, that was just 2 games, and he already had 4 assists. So to say that he was playing well would be an absolute understatement. When you get 4 assists in 2 games, that's just saying something about how well you are. So now take a look at the highlight. All right, so staying in the second, just over 2 minutes after that, or maybe over 3 minutes after that, Dylan Larkin will get his first goal of the tournament, assisted by Matt Boldy, who had his second assist of the tournament, 13:33 of the middle frame. Late in the third period, Canada would pull their goalie, hoping to even it up at 2. Unfortunately, it did not pan out, as Jake Guentzel would get his second goal of the game, his 3rd of the tournament, assisted by Dylan Larkin and Brian Faber. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 19 seconds to go in the third. So with that goal, that would be the icing on the cake for Team USA. And with that victory, because they had 2 wins in their first 2 games, that automatically put them into Thursday's final. And it would come down to basically Team Canada or Team Finland as to who the United States would be playing in their home barn. So I'll switch it over to Monday, which was last night. And so Canada and Finland, kind of fitting that one of those 2 teams needed to win in order to advance. And we'll take a look at the action. So these 2 games between Canada and Finland and the United States and Sweden took place in Boston. So therefore, every team was guaranteed to play at least 2 games in Canada and possibly 2 games in the United States. With that being said, though, because one team had to lose for either Finland or Sweden or Canada, this could have been potentially one of their last games. So now let's take a look and see the highlights from this game. So Connor McDavid got the first goal against the United States in their previous game. He'd get the first goal against Team Finland unassisted for 13 of the first period. So a snapshot, wrist shot. To me, they're both the same, but McDavid would open up the scoring for team. At the 5-minute mark, Nathan MacKinnon would get his second goal of the tournament from Sam Reinhart and Brian Hagel, 4:59 of the first period. Staying in the first, Braden Point would get his first goal of the tournament from Travis Sanheim and Connor McDavid, 13:02 of the opening frame. Nathan MacKinnon would strike again, his second goal of the game, his 3rd of the tournament from Sidney Crosby and Sam Reinhart, 5:03 of the second period. Team Finland would finally get on the board late in the third period, cutting the deficit to 4-1. Esa Lindell will get his first goal of the tournament, assisted by Arturi Lehkonen. Michael Granlund would score with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in the game, getting his second goal of the tournament, assisted by Patrick Laine. So that would make it 4-2 in favor of Canada. No, you're not seeing things, and this isn't me repeating myself, but Michael Granlund would score his second goal of the game just 23 seconds after he scored to cut the lead to 4-2. He'd cut the lead to 4-3 with 1 minute and 17 seconds to go in the game. That'd be his third goal of the tournament, assisted by Sasha Barkov and Sebastian Aho. So Team Canada would avoid a scare. They didn't blow the lead, but they almost did. To get his first goal of the tournament, an empty netter assisted by Sam Reinhart. So with the victory, Canada will be advancing to the finals, basically having a rematch with the United States. The only thing is the tables have now been turned. They first played in Canada, now they're going to be playing in the United States. So to say it'll be hostile would be an absolute understatement. So because Finland lost, Sweden really had nothing to play for at this point. They were hoping to try to just make things interesting. Maybe they were just playing for pride, whatever the case may be. Is the States, they had nothing to play for. That's what I should have meant. The States had nothing to play for as they already locked in the number one seed. Maybe had Sweden beat Finland, this game would have been, excuse me, would have meant a little bit more for Team Sweden, but because they lost their first two games to Finland and Canada respectively, I think they're more or less just playing for pride in their last game of the tournament. So Chris Kreider would score the first goal for the States, his first goal of the tournament from Zach Werenski, who had 5 assists in the tournament. That's crazy. And then Jack Eichel also assisted. He had 4 assists in the tournament, just 35 seconds into the opening frame. Gustav Nyquist would get his first goal for Team Sweden of the tournament, assisted by Erik Karlsson, who had 2 assists, and Victor Arvidsson, who had an assist as well. 13:39 of the first period. All right, and then with just under a minute to go, 56 seconds to be exact, Jesper Bratt would end up getting the game-winning goal in the first period. Hard to believe there was no scoring in the second or third. Assisted by William Nylander, so Team Sweden would win 2-1. So with that, the tournament did come to a conclusion. And now I can actually show you the standings now that I'm all caught up from Saturday and Monday's games, respectively. As long as this thing decides to load. Okay, so see if I can scroll and get all 4 teams on the screen. There we go. So there you can see USA had 2 regulation wins and an overtime loss. So I said they had 1 overtime win. No, they had 2 regulation wins and 1 regulation loss. Wow. So they would finish with 6 points. Canada would finish in second place with 1 overtime win, 1 regulation win, and 1 loss. Team Sweden would finish with 5 points as well, but they only had 1 win and 2 overtime losses. And unfortunately, Team Finland did not get any wins. They had 1 overtime loss and 2 regulation losses, only finishing the tournament with 2 points. So as I said before, it will be Team USA and Team Canada playing in Thursday's 4 Nations final, and I'm sure a lot of people who are hockey fans will be tuning in. I will be fortunate to be able to watch it because I'll finally have a night off, which will be fantastic. So I really am so excited and so thrilled that to have this epic matchup. I'm sure there'll be some bloodshed between both these teams. If the first game was anything to talk about, I guarantee there will be a few chirps, a few hits, and a few fights. And I couldn't be more excited. There's nothing more exciting than hockey, in my opinion, because there's just no other sport allows you to beat the crap out of somebody else and get away with it. You have fighting in football, you get ejected, or baseball or basketball. Out of the four major North American sports, this is definitely one that is more thrilling than the rest. So I am hoping that I will have a video uploaded Thursday night for the winner of the USA and Canada. And then we will be getting back to our regular scheduled program, I'm sure at some point, with the regular season getting back underway for the National Hockey League. All right, that's going to take care of my recap for the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.